unuke uye esuthwini uyowaluka nobuya ke ngokubuya kwabo uthi uyindoda ke ngokuthintile ebukhosini intwana indoda kumele umkhona impilo akini wonke into zesidoda ke ngizawufuneka izenzile nalapha ePhlanti xa ingenileyo ePhlanti amakhwenkwe unike ngolukanga kananta noyithetha apha ibangeni yakho nto azayiphendula ayithethe izawuthethwa ngamadoda.
Growing up in Zwelitsha Zone 2, far away from big towns or big cities, I had no idea that the word dream existed. If I did know about it, then I didn't know what it really meant. As described in the dictionary, a dream is a cherished aspiration, ambition, or ideal.
Is this a subject that is very close to your heart? Sexuality, manhood, nendo zinjalo?
Identity is very close to me because I think...
Why?
Identity because I think you will never know your true purpose in life if you until you dissect each identity, all aspects of identity, not just sexuality, spirituality, career or anything, you know, family and everything, personal identity, everything that defines human being. So if you challenge all other aspects of who you are and there's one area that you haven't challenged, you'll be mediocre. You won't be as successful as you are supposed to be. And so I thought, why don't I use this platform to challenge the idea of manhood? What is manhood in the 21st century? Because you can't explain manhood the same way my father does, because my father belongs to the 50s and I'm the child, I'm a contemporary child, I'm dated. So everything has to evolve respectfully though, not rejecting the values and the foundations our fathers taught us. My father, I have to stick to those, but try and show him that I'm becoming my own man.
So basically you're going to be shocking us, Nomso. You're going to be letting us face the issues as you call you by shocking us.
Well, shocking to closed-minded people,
okay,
but not really shocking to open-minded individuals. The inclusion of the word ideal fascinates me. When explained, ideal is a standard of perfection or a principle to be aimed at. This is my dream, the ideal dream. A dream about finding a song to sing. A cherished aspiration I first felt deep within on my grandmother's veranda. An ambition I recognized before my vocabulary could assist in painting clear pictures for the mind through words. My dream enlightened me about some of the greatest voices that have ever lived. I mean Luciano Pavarotti, Whitney Houston, Miriam Makeba, Nina Simone. Big voices that sang songs with words needed by the soul. They, a standard of perfection I am to spend the rest of my days striving for, really inspired the life of this dream. The openness to excellence sharpened my imagination. I imagined that the lawn below the veranda comprised of thousands of audience members who had traveled from all over the world to listen to me sing. The seed that carried this dream began to sprout rapidly. In that township, in that zone, on that veranda, there was no turning back, no exit point, no other option but to walk straight ahead. When a dream has put forth shoots, the dreamer is first to be aware. The dream shall lead the way. Trust. December 1995, the dream led me to Bisho Industrial Hall. Dalukolo Joga led a 32-member choir in a song. I felt renewed. I had been led down a corridor of my life's purpose by this dream. A purpose of song. Is it believe in change? What is it? Believe in change. Yeah. And your facial expressions, you look like you don't want to be here. And please just fake it until you make it. Let's try again. My path, my future, the present became a sealed deal. My mission through life was and still is clear. I'm a conduit of song. I was loved for singing well and loathed for being a sissy.
Majola, let's talk about 20 years of democracy. We've got our elections coming up. How do you think, has it been any more difficult for you as a gay person growing up in South Africa?
It hasn't been difficult because I think I was born in a country that was enlightened enough to know that any human injustices, you know, be it sexuality, creed, race, or any other belief or, you know, culture, is injustice. You know, there's no othering injustices. You know, injustices are injustices. So I'm fortunate to have been born in a country like that. But there has been difficulties in the sense that, you know, we are born in different community and cultural backgrounds who have differing opinions about sexuality and any other issues. And their beliefs and their, you know, what they think about certain issues like sexuality make it impossible or difficult for an individual to grow up and be freely themselves, an individual in a community, in a communal or a community environment.
Would you say, Majola, that in the black community, homosexuality is frowned upon more than, let's say, other communities?
It depends. I think in black communities, this is frowned upon because it's seen as un-African. I don't know what. I think one of the things about, you know, the 20 years of democracy is also establishing what identity is for ourselves as South Africans, because we lived in 400 years plus of stolen identity, of an identity that was subjugated or was trying to be destroyed by a certain group, minority group. So I think it's quite silly for people to say that certain identities are un-African or European, because we're still trying to figure out what identity is, what African identity is. So it's difficult within the black community because we still ourselves don't know where we fall, because there's tribes and we don't know how to interrelate between those tribes, and we don't know what our culture, black culture, is overall. So it's difficult in that sense.
I had had the misfortune of witnessing effeminate men being escorted out of so-called holy gatherings. I prayed my girlish behavior away to no luck.
I compare it to left-handedness.
Yes.
We know that 7% of the world is left-handed. China, Afghanistan, South America, Iceland, Norway, Greenland, Hasidic Jews, Muslims, everyone in every community, about 7% are left-handed. And it's the same with homosexuality.
Guilt and loneliness overcast the once clear skies of this dream. The world knew I was gay. They denied my truth on my behalf. Then the world went out of its way to teach me how to reject myself instead of learning about self-acceptance.
But I think many fathers themselves carry this wrong burden of this preconceived notion of masculinity. Whereas masculinity has soft edges. Masculinity has different ways of expressing itself.
The issue of sexual orientation was such a discriminator because you use the word morphe, but I remember in Dobson the word istabane, etc., etc. There were words like that. And there was violence, communal violence against that. Because suddenly people thought to themselves, we as black people can't have that. So there's always a narrative of oppression that infuses a mindset of people when that community of people is also oppressed.
Names like Simon Nkoli, Edwin Cameron, Zaki Ahmed, Robin Milan, Eusebius Macacia were gifts to my sanity and self-acceptance. Their courage to be true to themselves is a principle to be aimed at. Failing to conform to what manhood is said to be, this dream assured me that a man is a man only through deeds. I have earned back the courage to sing. My courage to sing is now my tribute to this dream. This dream planted a vision in the core of my being. This dream stood by me and held my hand through thick and thin. This dream saw me through the humiliation of rejection many a times. I am an African, black, gay, talented, worthy of respect for singing well, deserving of love for being a sissy. I now sing a new song on platforms far away from Zweli, Zone 2, my grandmother's veranda. I sing this song with pride. My new song is called Butsisi. This is the part when the dream begins to materialize. This is my dream, the ideal dream.
Why do they call him Majola?
It's my clan name. It's a clan in the Eastern Cape, and I decided, you know, to give it use it as my stage name, and also pay tribute to King Majola, who ruled my people in the 1700s.